Hi guys, so welcome to Young and Limitless. Today we're going to learn more tips and techniques on how to feel good and comfortable about being in your own skin and about being who you are. And my beautiful, amazing guest today is Valentina, and she's going to tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does and where she lives in the world. Hi Valentina.
Hello, darling. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm very excited. At the moment, I'm sitting on the other side of your world. I'm in Cape Town, Italian, as you can hear, but I've been living in South Africa for over 20 years now. I was a restless teenager, so I walked far from home. And my full name is Valentina Leo, and I'm a tantric teacher. Mm-hmm. So my background is in theatrical performance art. And I think it was a natural evolution to go into the spirit of the arts now, the essence of life that for me is Tantra. Tantra is an Eastern philosophy from which a lot of yoga practices come from, and a lot of conversation about understanding self and sexuality. It's a tool we use a lot to understand who we are. And at the moment I teach in groups, I give a lecture, I see private clients, I talk with groups of young girls and elder women. And, from Tantra, we can have a conversation about life at large, really. And of course, I teach yoga practices as well for the yogis and yoginis that are interested. So, when I left Italy in my 20s, I was 21. I lived in London for 5 years. I was punk and great time. Drug, sex, and rock and roll. That was my training. And then I went to India, and I find the philosophy, Eastern philosophy, and they really touched my heart deeply and profoundly. And in a sense, I never come back to Europe from there. Then I came to Africa. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to see how other people lived because, I felt I was quite sheltered living in Italy and then England, the Western world. I thought that's all there is. And I came to Africa and I saw this other part of the world. And then when I came to South Africa, to Cape Town, apartheid was just tipped over. The election of 1994 happened when Mandela got made president. So there was this, we were living the African dream. There was this black man that was the enemy of the state. He's been in prison for 27 years. And suddenly he was the president of the country. It felt amazing to be here. I felt I was in the heart of the dream. It's like anything can happen in this world.
So that's amazing. So you had a real freeing experience physically and culturally, emotionally. Yeah. So I normally start with podcasts by asking this question. So because you're Italian and you live in South Africa, what's your favorite food?
What's my favorite? I like Indian food, of course, because I'm a tantrika, and Thai food. I like Asian food. I like rice and lemongrass, and I like to eat with my hand. Really connect with the food that way. So
when you were a teenager, what was your favorite food then?
I think pizza. When I was in Italy, I think.
And look, you can eat that with your hand as well.
You've always exactly.
So, I'm talking about teenagers. When young people hit puberty, everybody knows about the changes in the body and the lowering of the voice if you're a bloke and the curves if you're a girl. But not many adults or people talk about the effects of the extra attention you get as your body changes, and especially when you're a girl and your curves develop and you have unwanted attention sometimes. How did you deal with that?
I was a late developer. My menstruation only came when I was 16. Then they stopped. My mother died when I was 17. So I think that blocked a little bit my desire to grow as a woman in my body. There was a bit of a shock. We can call it a shock. So, so I was a particular case, and my breast was always so very small. I just remember when I had this little little points at maybe 12, 13, and I so wanted to wear a little bra, and I was forbidden. And I think I felt so exposed and so tender. It was a hard time. I remember crying a lot, this I remember, in my bed for hours and hours and hours in the night. I remember this feeling that no one knows me, no one can really know, no one understands me, no one really see me. And so today, as an adult, when I see teenagers, kids, I have so much compassion. I think it's a very hard time in the development of every human being, because we become we encompass our totality. We become so big. There is so much energy moving in our body, and there's very little guidance to tell us what's happening. It's a mystical time. It's a spiritual time, also very powerful. And so now, my daughter is only 11, but she already has sign of growth in her body. And I allow her to cover herself, if she put a bra, I let her, because I feel her tenderness in her body growing. And I want to participate with her in tending to the tender body, and not ignore it, and not going, whatever. And so to wear a bra or something is actually a way to protect the tenderness and not pretending that nothing is happening. I feel a lot of our issue in our society, we pretend we're always fine, everything is fine, all is well, we are okay. We need to push through life and have this relationship that life is against me and we are warrior to life. And it's all the opposite when we are a teenager. We are tender, because we are not anymore children, and so we're losing the attention that children have. We are not yet grown up, but around us is expected that we behave like grown up, but our emotions are at the surface. It's like we have no skin.
Yeah.
I remember this crying endlessly. It means we feeling. The feeling body, it's enhanced. It's coming to a different embodiment, it's really integrating with the physical body. And instead of being given a lot of attention, we are told to get on with ourselves and to move into the world. And I think then there is when we create this armoring, this corace, this shelter, and many of us carry that for the rest of our life.
Sorry. So how would you go back and help a young woman deal with their tenderness so that they didn't have to carry it for the rest of their life, so they can just be comfortable and knowing that it's okay, it's what happens, it'll pass, they'll get used to it?
Yeah. And for me, it's about becoming, culturing the quality of wonderment and awe. So I tell the young girl that the body is becoming fertile, and it's something really, really beautiful. They are now participating with the movements of life at large, because in puberty we're preparing the body to procreate. And unfortunately, what we are told at school about sexuality, they are taught about the problem of sexuality, as if sexuality is a problem. The fact that we become sexual aroused and we want to participate with reality, it's a problem. And of course, from the tantric perspective, which is the lens I look at the world with, we're looking at what happened always as absolutely perfect. And sexuality is the celebration of our humanity. So I really tell the girls that, when the body starts to menstruate, it's not a bothering. It's not a shame. It's, wow, we must rest in awe and participate into the cycle of life, because now this body of this young woman can have a baby. Beautiful. That is
but it can be painful. Periods can be really painful.
And the majority of the time they're painful when we resist them. This is what's happening, because we were told that is a problem. We were told by our mother and uncle and aunt and grandmother, oh my God, that's a problem. And we've seen them huffing and puffing about it all the time.
Interesting, yeah.
I've got this thing and I have to hide it and I really don't want it. And so the physical body goes together with the emotional body. And so we absorb this information often in the things that are not said. And maybe mommy tell us, oh no, it's all okay, but in reality she behaved as if is it a problem. And as children, we absorb also what is not spoken.
But also there's an anxiety and an embarrassment. So what if I start and, I don't have anything with me, or something happens, or...
Yeah, we have to prepare the young girl. I mean, there are many ways. There is a beautiful YouTube channel by a lady called Lacey Green.
Oh.
I found her some years back, and she teaches teenagers about sex and sexuality in a very funky and outgoing way, which I think it's very supportive. For me, it's about always talking about it and having the conversation and not making it into a secret. And the majority of the time, the boys that are making jokes, making fun, or shaming the girls is because they're also very out of their place. They feel embarrassed. They don't know what to do. They feel they don't know. So to cover up their insecurity, they shame and they attack. So the more we talk about it as if this is the most, it is not as if, it is the most normal things in the world. And so with Tantrism, we go into the art of devotion. So the first thing we are devoted about is the vagina. We call it Yoni. And Yoni is the source of reality. And every human being that lives on this planet comes out of that. If you think about it, we don't think about it. That's why we are a psychotic society. We think about what clothes I can wear and how I can hide my menstruation, when in reality, without menstruation, there is no life on the planet.
No.
This is the most powerful thing. And if we're gonna culture girls that are ashamed of this, they don't want to menstruate, we will end life as we know it. So we could, and I'm not saying should, I say could, because I believe the world is changing and we're growing back into knowing what really matters. So we could educate, if any girls that is listening now, I really want to encourage them to take a moment, so often to rest with one hand on your yoni, on your vagina, and you can find a beautiful name. Also, we have no name for vagina. Vagina is a horrible name. We don't want to use it. It sounds like a medical instrument, or a disease, or there's something wrong. But then we use words that are offensive, you know. This needs to all change. We need to find words that are full of reverence. So we have Yoni in Sanskrit, is a traditional Indian language. Our Yoni create life. And so we really need to start to be devoted to it. And so I always invite the girl to spend some time with their body. When they had to have long baths, hot baths, if you have menstrual cramp and menstruation, to take time to go into a hot bath, maybe have a big cry. You know, the tears are coming because they're coming, they're hormonal. So the first thing is not to try to find the reason why I'm crying, because now we're going into the head and coming out of the body. And menstruation, fertility, and birth giving and sexuality, they all pertain, these are sacred, divine movement of the body. And so my body, the body of woman, the body of any woman, when you start menstruating, start to align the nervous system to align with the body of the planet. And so to start thinking like that and honor our body like we honor plants. And so maybe a young girl could buy herself a beautiful plant, a little plant, a pot plant. She can keep it in her room. She can take care of her.
I love the idea of a plant. That's really, really nice.
Yeah, but you see, we have to embrace our blood because it belongs to us. If we keep thinking that is disgusting and shameful, then my relationship with my menstruation can only but be painful, because my body is having a movement that I am rejecting. And then I'm going to go exactly to your next question. When I reject myself and what moves in my body, and I become an object of someone else's desire, because I stop desiring myself. And so I'm not the subject of my desire. And therefore, I become an object of someone else's desire. And so I'm going to start to become the one I think the other are asking me to be.
Ah.
And so my mom wants me with long hair, and I'm going to have long hair. The boy like a girl with lipstick, I'm going to buy lipstick.
Yes. So can I just, this is what I think you're saying. So I think you're saying we love ourselves and appreciate and value ourselves. Otherwise, we'll value what other people, how other people see us.
Yes.
And then we want to please them rather than actually being true to who we are.
Yes. And that's why women choose to become sex object. The majority of the time, it's a process of women, not of men. Because when I speak with men love everything about women. Men love curves. Men don't know what cellulite is. Many men absolutely love the essence of woman. They fall in love with femininity. The majority of men I speak to. But women, we are so hard with ourselves, because we disconnect, because we think that our it starts with menstruation and the curve in the body. We cannot appreciate it. And so we waiting for someone else to appreciate it for us. But the problem is that then I become very empty inside. I don't know who I am. And I'm looking for answer inside through the eyes of either man, boyfriend, or girlfriend and peer group, or the media. I do what the advertisement tell me to do, what movies are saying. And I mean, for me, the biggest problem we see is with plastic surgery, how absolutely beautiful women go and mutilate themselves, cut and chop their genital organ, the organs of life and compassion and deep love. That's why I invite always women and girls to connect. I was saying, go and have a hot bath, place a hand on your yoni and a hand on the heart, and make this. We have to make this connection, because our genital, everybody genital, even boy genitals, are connected to our heart. Sex and sexuality start in the heart that loves. Yes. My daughter told me when she was 4 years old, and we saw a pregnant woman, and I said, look, there is a baby in the tummy of this woman, how amazing. And she looked at me, she says, Mom, babies are not made in the tummy, babies are made in the heart.
Wow.
Yeah. The body knows about this wisdom that sex and sexual attraction, it starts in the heart, and our genitals are only an instrument to express love, to express the heart. And we don't use them up as instrument of love. We also abuse our genital, we want them to perform, or we discard them. And every time we do this, we reject ourselves.
Yeah. You were saying about women choosing to give their power to men, but some women, young women, there's not a conscious choice. It's like they accidentally, because they don't have role models or because they just don't know any better, they fall into that trap of...
Yes. So because they learn from their mothers, and they learn from their peers that what I really feel, it doesn't matter. It's how I appear to the world that it matters more. And so this is why we are so lost. That's why what breaks my heart is to see in the world, now I don't know specifically in England, but the statistic of teenagers that are on antidepressants and teenagers that make suicide. Because teenager is when we flower. That's when I tell women, girls, young girls, sometimes we do ceremony here for the first menstruation, which it doesn't have to be a big party because girls are tender, private.
Yes.
So we ask the girl, who would you like to invite? Not mommy choose to show off. The girl must choose. And sometimes it's only 4 or 5 girls. Maybe some friend of the mother, the grandmother, the aunt, and some girlfriend. And we just make a circle and we speak from the heart, and us, the grown-up, needs to start to be vulnerable and tell the girls our true feelings about our body. Breast, the different shape of breast, some have big hips, some have short hips and we tell the girls how now they like the planet, that a seed can go inside our body and it would grow like a tree. And that is so powerful and so beautiful.
Yes, it is. And sorry, I'm just saying about you showing people your shape. And I think that, in my opinion, there aren't that many women who are comfortable show their shape and feel really comfortable. So I think that's really nice that young girls see older women who are comfortable and know that it's okay. You don't have to feel ashamed, and you don't have to hide either, and you don't have to think, oh, it's really weird. It's natural. It's completely natural.
Yeah, it's because the media has a very specific look that shows over and over and over. And so for me, also suggestion for everybody, but especially teenager, stop looking at TV. Don't buy magazine. Girls, please.
I love it, yes.
Fun girl magazine. Yes. That is abuse. And feel your body and wear what makes you feel good and wear what you can relax in it, you know, and be comfortable in your skin, because this is not something we can learn when you are in your 30 or 40. It's something that we need to culture since we are young, to stay really true. And so we say we become subject of my desire instead of being an object of somebody else's desire. Yes. So often we become sexual object, and then we complain about the men. And the men are not doing it. We are doing it to ourselves and become sexual object because we don't know who we are. And so we buy the magazine and we must be like this one or like that one or like the other one, instead of being inspired by our girlfriend and accept that we are also different. And so I can really like you, and you've got brown skin and you've got red hair, and I don't have to be like you. I can like you so much and I can be inspired by you. Maybe I like the way you walk and talk, and I can absorb it a little bit and see if it works for me. And maybe someone else will take something off me, but that the variety make beauty. The fact that we are all different and we are all connected, that create true beauty in the planet.
Yes.
And also the big piece I want to add, that when we reject our body, our menstruation and our developing breast, is that we are not comfortable inside, and we become really jealous to other girls, particularly the ones that are comfortable, or they appear to be more popular. And then we begin to be in competition with each other. And I think this is the biggest problem that we have on the planet, that the feminine actually is not supportive of each other. We are in constant competition, and we compete to be accepted and liked by men outside, instead of liking ourselves and supporting each other into liking each other, so that I can compliment you every day. You know, when you come to school and I can see your beauty and you can tell me, oh, there is this aspect of me that I don't like. And I can tell you, yeah, but look at you. You got a beautiful smile. I love your smile.
There's
what about
else to focus on? Yeah, not just that tiny bit. Yes.
And girlfriend would know that, because there is a reason why we like our girlfriend. They make us feel good. They laugh a lot. And so that we can constantly exchange and compliment each other, you know, in our positive traits. And honor each other body. I suggest also that young girls come together and mother don't speak about it and grandmother don't speak about it, that they can make a small group of 3 or 4 girls and they can speak with each other. How do I feel today? How do you feel? And they can support each other. We need to talk about it. Is the first piece, and talk about with reverence, and take a little plant, honor the plant, the curve of the plant. That's what I wanted to get also. It's the curve of our body. Plants sometimes are not perfect. Flowers are not perfect. One is skewed this way and the other one goes the other way. But we don't say this flower is ugly. A flower is a flower. They're all beautiful because they express themselves. And so if you keep looking at nature, and we can learn from nature how they spontaneously are who they are, and they celebrate themselves. So you can also have a bath and throw flower petal on the bath when you menstruate, so that once a month the girl can create a ritual of appreciation for herself to be in her body. And every girl can make it in the way they want, but one simple way is to make a hot bath and throw rose petal in the bath or whatever flower you got, and put some nice essential oil, some lavender that relax, play some nice music, and get in the bath and ask for alone time. If you live in a busy household with brothers and sisters and mothers and father, that you ask, can I have half an hour alone? It's my time in the bathroom because today I'm feeling really tender.
Yes, brilliant.
So, instead of in reaction, because the emotions are going everywhere, just to own the emotion and say, I'm sorry if I'm edgy, but I'm really feeling tender. Can I be alone? And then when they come out of the bath, I suggest they buy coconut oil or any cream and put it all over their body. And this is a beautiful way to connect with your curve, with your body. It's really the tender breasts that are growing. They need so much tenderness. So the girls need to give attention and love and care, because that's also where a lot of disease, you see a lot of women have breast cancer and ovarian cancer.
We need to feel ourselves. Well, women continuously need to check.
Yeah, exactly. So we become also very intimate with the shape of my body. And with menstrual cycle, with the hormone, our body will feel different at different time in the months. And so the young girl begin this relationship with herself. For me, it's a very tender moment because I'm watching my daughter growing into a young girl, and she's doing it quite early because 11 years, it's in the bracket of normality, but it's also on the early side. Tell her, look, this little mountain growing like the land of the planet, and then you have pubic hair, and they're like the forest with the mystery in the forest, So the body, we become curious about our body. And, I'm a tantrika, so I live from a spiritual perspective. And there is nothing more powerful to understand the mystery of life. Because then life is lived to the full from inside out. Not from outside in.
Thank you, Valentina. Thank you for your time and your amazing insight of how to connect all the parts of us so we love ourselves and we don't give our power away to other people who,
And this is the piece
think.
to remember. Become the subject of your sexuality, the subject of your desire, the subject of your power, and not the object,
Yes, not the object.
I'm just going to wrap up with this line that one teacher told me once as a grown-up, and I can share it with the young girl, particularly, with all the sex violence and everything that happened. If you don't take responsibility of your sexuality, someone else is going to do it for you. And that someone else could be that other person outside of you will take responsibility for your sexuality and can become abusive, and they'll do to you. It's important we take responsibility. We become responsible for our sexuality. And puberty is when our sexuality is really ringing at our door and saying, hello, you are a living, breathing, sacred human being that can make children. It's sacred.
Yes.
Celebrate.
Yes.
Celebrate.
Brilliant.
Celebrate.
Thanks, Valentina. And thanks, guys, for listening. And if you want to follow me on Young Limitless Podcast, all one word, on Instagram, I will follow you back. So thanks, guys. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.